Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Shit, let me do a little quick edit here. Hold on, Steve. Give me 1 second. Ooh, did I go over? Okay, maybe that worked. Okay, Steve, I got you. Welcome, my brethren. What's going on, bro? What's good with you, Nick? My boy, what's good?
What up? What up? What up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad. I was supposed to start it almost 15 minutes ago. I'm heading home now. That's why time went by. Time went by. But appreciate y'all for coming through. Let me
Hey,
see. What's up? What's going on, brother?
not
What's the
much.
word,
Just
bro?
another day.
Man, day was long, man. But I'm glad to get off a little early. Um, but I'm heading to the next grind. So it is what it is. Nick, what's going on with you?
Shit, man. Waiting on some Miami news. Waiting on y'all.
Yeah, man. Sorry, retarded to the party, but we here. We bite.
We definitely bite. That's the new shit. We bite.
We bite, baby. Yes, sir. I
Hey,
didn't get I didn't get to get much news from practice today. Seems like offense was doing okay. I don't know, Steve. What did you hear anything or seen anything?
it was kind of far few and in between today, man. You could tell it. Like, I don't think today was open to fans because it was kind of like sparse. I know Tua hits a crazy pass on an out that had it been thrown like any other place than Tua threw it, it would have been a pick. I think Jalen Wright had a good run today. Like there was like I think it's all like 6 tweets about everything all day.
Yeah, I don't think they were in packs today, right? It was shells only.
I don't know. I know Julian Hill had the orange jersey.
Yes, sir. Looks like he's likely the tight end too for the
Oh yeah.
team.
I
Yeah,
mean
so that's a
Jody
good thing.
Fortson pretty much his hands gave that entire competition to nothing. Like there's that competition, if there was even a possibility of one, made it non-existent.
Right.
So
Hey,
we
listen.
keeping three tight ends though, right? We keeping three.
I think we're keeping
It
four.
depends. I think it depends. So somebody made a good point to me that if we keep three, the fourth, because essentially tight ends are kind of the bigger pause receivers, the those receivers that can kind of for short yardage distance and all that good stuff, the contested catches. Oh, somebody just gonna let their dog just walk all over. Almost got hit by.
You could probably put one at
People don't know how
fullback
to manage
too.
their.
Put one at like backup fullback or something.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
my
what
bad,
Tanner
y'all.
Connor does.
Somebody almost got their dog hit by me, bro. They don't know how to control their dog. My bad.
Hey,
Um,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
give me co-host.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Hey Steve, if Julian Hill's tight end two, who's tight end one?
Oh, that's
Johnu,
Durham's.
baby.
No, that's Durham Smite. Durham
Yeah,
Smite's tight end one. That's
I
his
don't see
job
them
to
making.
lose.
Yeah, I don't see them making Julian Hill tight end two just for politics, just for contracts and stuff.
Well, here's the thing, right? And
I'm
this
not
is
saying
how
he's
I
not
was
worth it.
trying to explain it. This is how I was trying to explain it earlier. Julian Hill and Durham Smite are in the same. They're in the same type of tight end for me. they're the guys who are going to be on the field more often than not because of just how we like to use our tight ends per last year. I'm still going until that changes and I see them change that. I have to feel that way. I feel like Jonnu Smith, he's the tight end, but he's more of a weapon at tight end. Where when we go into two tight end sets or when we're in the red zone, that's where he'll get most of his work.
Yeah,
If he's not an
agree with you.
H-back.
I agree with you completely in as much as they're kind of a category error problem with the tight ends. There are two main groups. There's the all-rounders, inline guys who might be described as blockers, and then there's the more flexible, versatile, can play split guys like Fortson, Jonnu, and Connor, who are sort of just kind of big receivers. But that's I mean, I don't think that, for the record, I don't think it really matters what number on the depth chart. To me, I think that it's situational, and it's entirely situational. And if it's 3rd down and 8, Durham Smythe can be tight end 1 all he likes, but probably Jonnu's going in, and it's going to be lots of receivers, you know. So anyway, it's hard to predict, isn't it?
I look at tight ends like, and I look at it this way with any position. It comes down to your snap counts. Last year, Durham Smythe had 71% of the snaps. Julian Hill had 37, I believe it was, and then that was pretty much all the tight ends. Kraft didn't play very many snaps, like the percentage wise, right? I still think Durham's going to get 60% of the snaps. Offensive snaps, not just for the room, but offensive.
But really quick, we have to remember as well that they've been implementing more 2 tight end sets. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying, Chad.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Like, you're 100% right. There's no doubt about that. It changes. That's easier to analyze. Like snaps, Smythe's going to get most snaps.
Yeah, I think Smythe's going to get 60.
But that doesn't mean he'll have the most touches or targets or any of that other stuff, right? Like, right.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
It's kind of subjective. Do we consider tight end 1 to be the person who's primarily on the field the most, the person who's most involved in the offense? Is it the person who's most productive? Like, how do we quantify that?
I think Steve nailed it. If it snaps, then
because everybody has different roles, right? Like Mike Gesicki got more targets than Durham Smythe in 2022, but Durham Smythe was tight end 1. He played the majority of the snaps. That's how I always look at positions. Like Tyreek Hill isn't just wide receiver 1 because he's wide receiver 1 on the depth chart. He's wide receiver 1 because he gets the majority of the snap share. So like that's how I've always kind of looked at it. I see Durham Smythe getting around 60% of the snaps. I see Jonnu getting around 50% of the snaps, and I see Julian Hill getting around 40, which is more than what he had last year.
I don't know. I do feel that Jonnu can present blocking. He can show that he can block as opposed to Mike Gesicki. So I think if they feel comfortable with him showing that he has the ability to block in line in other places, maybe eventually down the line he can take more of the snaps. Because when you have that ability to catch the ball in yak yards and you show that you can block, that helps with, having that blocking, and then you get off your block and you go for a pass, or I don't know what the terminology is called, but those are some of the advantages you can. Yeah, chip, exactly. So I mean, we'll see. It's a great point though, because I do think we're gonna be a really good running team, and I think with guys like Smythe and especially Julian Hill, those are our good, strong run tight end run blockers. So we'll see how it goes. What's going on, everybody? Pablo, appreciate you for coming through. Dundee, what's going on? Chad, what's going on? Everybody, what's going on? Hope everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here in California. I've been a Dolphin fan since 1981.
Yeah,
And
plenty.
I think that all comes down to being able to, block in the run. To not only, be able to catch a pass, but it all depends on the plays that you're going to be calling. And I guess the quality, it depends on if you can block on the run and catch passes. And also the play. I think Jonas Smith, it's a, I don't know if it's better than Smythe when it comes to catch passing or being able to run better plays. I guess it'll be Johnny Smith, tight end number 1, and Smythe following him. It all depends on the plays, though, they're going to be calling.
Yeah. So right now,
Pablo, really quick, Pablo, what part of California you in? You north, central, south? Pablo.
Inland Empire, Rialto.
Okay. I'm in the Central Valley, man. Yes, sir. Well, yeah, go ahead, Dundee. Sorry about that.
no,
I've been
at all.
2 years ago. And I lived in Miami for like 13 years, so I'm a big Dolphin fan.
Yes, sir. Go
Nice
ahead.
to meet you, Pablo.
I'm a fan since Dan Marino, since Mark Lane, Mark Duper, Don Shula, all those people.
Appreciate you for joining us, man. It's nice to have you. Dundee, go ahead. Lord George.
Thank you.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
You were going to say something about the tight ends.
Yeah.
Something about
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
John, who's tell me what you think, but piecing together you guys and some of the other spaces, listening to Barry, listening to Omar, listening to Poupart, listening to 3 yards per carry, listening to Travis, listening to Kyle, I get the impression that they have a special package for Jonnu that is different than all the other tight ends. A special thing that they're going to do. I hesitate to say it because it's an overused term, and I don't mean literally, but we're going to call it the Deebo Samuel role. Like, clearly they're doing stuff indoors and to a lesser degree outdoors with Jonnu that is getting people's attention. And you can tell that the guys that are not allowed to say want to say something about what they're doing with him. So I think that's
what
really
we saw with
interesting.
Easy E, right, Dundee?
I'm guessing that. Yeah, I'm guessing that, Steve. That seems likely.
That F move tight end type. Yeah, it's gonna be some of that as well. Yeah, I think it's like a blend of Deebo and Charles Clay. That's what I personally envision.
Handoffs in the
H-backy, gadgety, maybe a little Taysom Hill-ish,
A little bit of running back.
Yeah.
A little bit of end around. We saw that the other day. Pass to the flat, but screens, but special plays because he is. You mentioned Pablo, like is Smythe a better catcher than Smith, and that's a really good question because Smith it can be a bit dropsy, but what Smith has that the very few other tight ends in the league have, if any, is his yards after catch is exceptional, and that's what McDaniel's all about, isn't it? Getting the ball into the hands of players that can make plays. So that'll be really interesting. And he can
you don't
do
have
that
to worry about his
right?
hands. I was gonna say you ain't got to worry about his hands if he's catching, little dump off passes and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. That man be dropping. He be dropping easy ones. Shout out to Jennifer Forbush for putting us on that earlier. Kind of gave her a little pushback, but she was right. He do got a little bit of the dropsies.
I don't cast that wide nets before, but no point have I ever mentioned Charles Clay in these wide nets. Nasty work. What I
that's who he is. That's who he is. That's what he gonna play. He's gonna be like Charles Clay.
I would say Charles Clay was great more at his grit than anything else. He was a tough player. Didn't do anything particularly too well, but he was gritty, and he was going to show up for every game. I feel like this tight end role, I feel like they're going to be between the run game and the tight ends. I feel like that's where McDaniel is going to go and put his attention on. So I've already tweeted last night that McDaniel's probably going to have like 75 touchdowns this season. I say like 50 coming out of the quarterback position and 25 coming out of the running back and tight end position. Well, somewhere of that combination between the three, but I feel like 75 is a good number.
That's such a wide net to
Well, I don't
like what specifically.
because I was gonna say Tua is gonna throw for 50 touchdowns. Now, whether or not they're all to the receiver or the tight end, that's left to be seen. But I feel like the tight end room and the running back room is going to both combine specifically for 25 touchdowns.
But isn't Tua's 50 touchdowns also going to include the tight ends as well?
But it might, like you've seen, overly get concentrated on the wide receivers. So if you see Tua throws 35 touchdowns to the wide receivers, and then he throws the rest to the tight ends, and you get that net difference, and then you have what the run. I'm talking Super Bowl. I'm not talking about the first round. I'm talking about us running it up.
How many touchdowns did we score last year? Do you know?
Let me look that up. Now,
I think
touchdowns we scored around 60.
I'm going to guess about 58.
It was around 60.
Because then what
we let in points.
What if Tua scrambles for touchdowns? Not other quarterbacks take credit for that. Can we?
You're just getting technical now.
I'm just saying, like other when they talk about Josh Allen having more touchdowns than Tua last season, they were adding the rushing touchdowns. So I mean, let me ask you, what would you say Tua's over under rushing touchdowns? Over under 5.
3. I'd say 3.
Yeah,
three
rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He could get.
I got him at 2. I don't think we're gonna get that many.
He could get 5 theoretically. It's not like a crazy high number, but I think a number around 3 is a lot more likely.
I say that more like those bootleg plays where you roll out and they don't know he got the ball and he run it in. That misdirection. So, it's not implausible.
So here's my pushback on your 50 number. Is that I know the team's done a lot of work on simplifying the blocking scheme for the run game, for firming it up and making it a little bit more robust, for trying to convert short yardage, being a little bit more direct. And so I would imagine that we will see, when we get inside the red zone and first and goal to go, I imagine we'll see fewer passes, not more passes. And that's not to say we won't still, if the first 2 go nowhere, we'll still pass it on third down. But that's the only thing. I think we'd have to see significant conversion rate in the red zone for the 2 to be getting 50. And
we saw about 10 drops. It's about 10 drop touchdowns last year. So it's not out of the question.
Yeah, they did. Oh no, it's not. It's not absolutely. I'm not saying it's nonsense. I'm just saying that would be my pushback. Is I think they want to do something a little bit different.
I would say 60 to 65 is probably more in line with what probably happened, because we had 30 passing touchdowns last year, 27 rushing.
Yeah, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for the 1 seed.
And you had a couple defensive touchdowns because Javon Holland, Sealer. I want to say, I don't know who else had one. There may have been like 3. So I want to say we had about 60 last year. So if 75 it might be a little high, a little lofty, but it's not crazy to come. But like 60 range, I think is absolutely doable.
The question is, does the difference from 65 and 75 get you to 1 seed? Because we had what we had. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but you have to understand. French. The reason we didn't get the 1st seed wasn't that we couldn't score. Our problem was
that was exactly it.
Like, it wasn't. No, because you got to understand that our defense also gave up the 4th most points in the entire conference. So it would have been enough if our defense wasn't so goddamn bad in pass protection.
Steve, you're using the season statistics to try to paint a picture about the scoring, and I think for the most part that could ring true. but in the big games against the big opponents, we didn't put up points. We put up points over.
That I can't argue with that. That's very true, Steve.
Against the Bills,
We didn't concede a
Hey
lot of
guys,
points.
do
We
you
didn't
think
score a lot
that
of points.
the Bills are
the change in the defensive coordinator is going to be a big boost? Changing from Fangio to
oh hell
It
yeah,
sure
Yes.
feels like it, doesn't it?
oh
The
yeah,
feeling,
But
the
Cat,
mood is
Cat,
strong.
you hear me?
yeah. I'm with you. Go
But
ahead.
but let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about those because when we're in these other spaces, they only hit us with two comments. You haven't won a playoff game in 20 years, and you don't win against good teams above 500. So when we analyze those teams above 500, the difference of us beating bad teams putting 30 and of those good teams we were putting 14 to 17 is the touchdowns. That is the
Right.
difference of 10 to, and maybe those 10 touchdowns that we're talking about still ain't enough. Maybe we needed 15 or 80 touchdowns to get enough to get over the Bills twice, get over KC. Okay, so then let's have that question right there. Let me stay right there for a moment. How many more touchdowns will we have needed to score to beat those teams above 500? In the KC game, it was what? Maybe 3. And
One.
we lost to KC by 1.
Which KC game? Because the KC game in Germany that we lost, it was a one score difference.
No, I'm talking about the playoffs.
Oh, okay, the playoffs, yeah. Okay.
The Bills,
Yeah, that was
the Bills,
21-7, I think it was.
the Bills twice.
It's been done before. I'm looking at it actually now. The Broncos in 2013 did it. That was a while ago too. Patriots in 2007
Hold
did
on.
it too.
I'm having deja vu. Let me send this tweet out because I'm having deja vu.
But listen, they averaged 37.9 and 36.8 points per game. Now we know though both of those teams were really good teams that I believe both got the 1 seed, right? I believe Broncos definitely got the 1 seed that year.
Yeah.
I know they were undefeated, but didn't Broncos too?
That's what it takes to win the 1 seed in today's NFL going against Patrick Mahomes. You got to put up 37 because maybe he might put up 42, but that 42 is maybe a late game drive that he's trying to put together to beat your team. So you got to maybe get that defensive score there, but we can't be going against these good offenses and these good teams in the playoff putting up 21, 24 because you see when we get to the playoffs, they're going to run it up on us.
I agree with that, French. I do agree with that. I'm just saying that it's not just the points scored. Like our defense needs to perform in those situations as well. That's all I was getting at. Because again, like when we played those good teams, Philly put 40 on us. Buffalo put 40 on us. The Chiefs ended up putting something on us.
My only
the Ravens put 50 on us.
My only pushback to that, Steve, is the defense even last season kept us in games and we wasn't putting our offensive output, and they kind of gave up after enough wear and tear. Let's keep
look at the Ravens game. Look at the Ravens game. We're up 7-3, could have went up 14-3, dropped TD in the end zone to put you up 14-3. Then the next thing you're down fucking 6 or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Chad, you're coaching different up 14-3. You're coaching a whole game totally different.
Oh, absolutely.
So when I say these things about 75, like I'm talking about us getting bro, the only way we win a Super Bowl is with it being in Miami. If you're expecting a team to go against 30 years of what's been proven data, it isn't working. We got to get the 1 seed. So the whole conversation needs to be getting off to a start like we had last season to where we go 9-1, 9-2, and we control our destiny towards the end of the season as we make the late round push. That needs to be our blueprint because if we're talking about, it doesn't matter not getting a 1 seed if we just have a healthy team and we go on the road. Every time we've gone on the road in December in the snow, it's a thing. It's the Hajjata. So,
but French, we were in the position the last 2 years, that position you just spoke about, we just haven't been able to get it done. The last 2 years, I believe we both were 8-3, 1 seed on the line right there for us to take in. We faltered down the stretch. So it's been there for us to do. And with the schedule here, it could easily happen again.
You want to talk about it? You want to talk about it real quick?
Possible.
Watch this. Well, isn't that the same thing the Florida Panthers did? And isn't it kind of the same thing that he was doing with, you know what I mean? The Dolphins and even the players have been around for this journey between the Heat and the Panthers, with winning it and the Florida Panthers getting there last season in the championship and losing, and then getting back there again and having to get over the hump. So I just take that into this season. These players have been a part of that. Raheem Mostert have been a part of that ride with these other players. So at some point, we're going to be in that same situation, like a video game, where we're up 9 games and we've only lost 2 games, and it's how do we handle the last 6 or 7 games of the season? You know what I mean? That's the management that we go through every year, or at least years recent.
About what?
I mean, again, we need to, and this kind of leads into a question I kind of have for you guys. Like, we have to, as a team, be, and I'm with you, French, all the way, right? Like, we need to be able to score and keep up with the teams when we get in those situations. So I do agree with you. Like, scoring does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't. We need to run up the points and be in those situations where against good teams we're still putting up 30 to 40 points. But we need to be healthy in those situations too. We need to figure out that answer as well with our depth, right? But it leads to this question. I put it up on Twitter earlier. I was doing a mock 53, just seeing where I was at with who's there, and I keep getting the 55, and I can't figure out who to get rid of to get down to 53 without making a position too thin. And the question I was going to ask you guys, would you be upset if they put OBJ on the 4-week IR for the first 4 weeks to squeeze another guy like Easy E onto the roster?
I thought that was going to happen anyway. That's kind of what we were talking about as well as strategy for the Dolphins, as far as strategizing these players to where you could bring them off later into the season, and then you could make necessary cuts based on who's performing. Yeah, that's actually a great move.
Not if he's fit, Steve. That would be a disaster. You play the game that's in front of you to the best of your ability. We're thin at the end, at the bottom of the wide receiver room. We're thin. If he's fit, he should play. Let's not look to game week 5 and 6. Let's look to game week 1. And if he's fit and healthy and can play, he should be on the team. Let's not get too clever here.
I'm saying this. Hold on. I'm asking this for this simple reason. Our problem hasn't been winning games early in the season. Since Mike McDaniel got here, our problem is not our record going into game 13. Our problem is health beyond game 13 in the season. Now, that being said, putting him on IR for 4 games doesn't mean OBJ could be healthy in game 13. But my more unworry is having these guys at the end of the year and doing what we can to make sure we have them. Again, Tyreek and Waddle and our tight ends and our running backs, like those guys are going to run this offense. Like I don't know if OBJ week 1 against the Jags is a necessity, and that's all I'm getting at.
But again, you alluded to what we were talking about earlier with the tight ends. I think the same applies with the wide receivers. It's all about snaps. So you don't have to give him the full allotment of snaps right out the gate. You could progressively, like we plan to do probably with Jalen Phillips, give him a little bit, spoon feed him here and there, just kind of incorporate him at time. Maybe at first more so in red zone, you bring in the OBJ or on third downs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways that you can go about, mitigating the injury concerns or risk with players like that. You got a litany of weapons at our disposal. We can do so many different things. You can put Achane out there at receiver at times. There's so many different things that we could do.
One of the things I was just mentioning, and I kind of wanted to give a little pushback on you, Dundee, is I get what you're saying is about not being too clever, but we also got to air, like same thing we told Tua last season, no one game and no one play is worth you getting injured and not being there for the end. So I don't necessarily care about one game in the overall season of things, because we're trying to preserve everybody for the season. That way we can get the most out of the season. It doesn't behoove us to, go all in to ensure we get the 9-3 just to be looking at the same situation. History repeats itself where you're up, 3 games on a division, and you got your hardest 4 games in December on the road to Cleveland. You got Thanksgiving in Green Bay. We're going to have the Bills again. So they're not doing us any favors with that. So we got to make sure specifically when you talk about any guy coming back, I'm always going to err on the side of caution because I rather it be neck and neck and everybody healthy and we just kind of duel it out than us up and we kind of dealing with the same situation where you got, guys off the street and you're hoping they're giving you that.
But why does it have to?
Sorry,
I
can I
don't think
just
it's going to
push
be
back
one
a
way or
touch
another.
again?
I get what you're saying.
Go on.
I get what you're saying as far as if we're up and then we're dealing with injuries. I think that's why it's important to have the good depth, so you don't have to.
True.
You don't have to deal with that
If,
situation. You can be up, but your depth is providing the backup it needs until those guys are ready.
I like that.
So I don't want to. I don't want to fall into that specific either or scenario. It could be a bunch of scenarios that
you
could
got to
happen.
find balance too, because like at the end of the day, it's you can say, okay, I want to keep these guys for the long haul, and I want them to be there for when it matters most. But at the same time, an OBJ doesn't have the experience in this offense to just come in whenever and just he has some experience with McVay, but I don't think what we run is the same thing. Like there's some maybe comfortability, so maybe there's a little bit of leeway there, but just at some point he has to gain chemistry with Tua and the players on the field.
Well,
Can I just say, I don't think, hold on, I don't think there's any doubt. If we had a magic wand and we said, resting OBJ in the first few weeks by putting him on injured reserve 2 days before the season starts, or whatever it is, put him on the PUP, if that was a guarantee that he would be fit at the end of the season, that's great. But that's not equivalent. You're making a logical step there that it's a fallacy. There's no guaranteeing that. And I think all the things you're just saying about him having chemistry with Tua and all that other stuff, he's just as capable of getting injured at the playoffs if we rest him as he is if we don't rest him.
Yeah, Dundee.
That's
sorry,
why I like
one last thing.
One last thing.
Sorry.
Just
2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds.
Oh, my bad.
And the other thing is that you don't see teams doing it. That's me.
No, I was just gonna say the reason I brought it up because I keep finding myself at a situation with this 53 where we can only fit 5 receivers, maybe 6. The 6th is like where I'm like, man, who do I cut to keep an extra receiver? Where we can put OBJ on IR for the first 4 weeks, and it allows us to keep a guy like EVE who we can, after those 4 weeks up,
you
move
really
to
think
the
he's gonna
practice
go
squad.
unclaimed?
I think that's what I'm. What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you cut Eze, I don't think he's gonna go unclaimed. I think someone's gonna pick him
he
up.
will.
I think someone will take I guarantee somebody would take a stab at him. Somebody took a stab at Elijah Higgins and Ryan Hayes. Like, when you have
those were that year's draft pick, so they already did the homework on him.
It's about tools, though, and Eze has tools that are very intriguing to teams. Like, again, it's one of those situations where do you want to put yourself in a situation where you might lose a guy who could have the tools that does know your offense, or you can choose to put your third receiver on IR who is obviously dealing with something at the beginning of the year. Keep the gentleman that's on your roster that knows, hopefully by now, knows your playbook, and you can put him onto your practice squad once OBJ's up in 4 weeks.
But it's the same.
That's
You risk the same thing of him getting caught up and go. Somebody pick him up for a week, and then they try to staff him.
What film are they watching to take Eze from? Like, what has he done?
The biggest thing too.
Can I also ask, how many wide receivers are you taking, Steve? And
That
was
dude's putting every Dolphin player on the team. Like, we have to stop.
I can say something right quick with that in mind. I get it. He doesn't have any
That was a good
NFL
one.
film, but with situations like that, he's still a young guy and he hasn't had experience. So teams look, let's go back to the beginning where he was in college. What is his scouting report? What does it fit with our offense? I think teams who value evaluate players who don't have a lot of film out there in the NFL go back to the college and a scouting evaluation to see if he fits an offense. That's just my
That's
opinion.
a
But
Maybe
that's
I'm
a
Junior,
that's a
not.
great
but
point,
I don't
hold
know.
on,
Junior.
but Junior, when they
Great
go
point.
back and look at that film, that was 2 years ago. They're gonna wonder why he
Four
hasn't
years
been on
ago.
the field. Four
Well, hold
years,
on.
whatever,
Right.
however
Hold on,
long it was. He
Martavius.
hasn't been able to crack the roster
That's it.
and been healthy to stay on a team. So why would you
Well,
just pick him up and put
well,
him on your roster
But you
if
have
we
to put
cut
him on the
him?
that's a good
53s
point.
if you
But
I
pick
have
him
an
up.
answer to that. It's not.
I've seen teams still acquire players who done shit in the league and still and injured players. Some teams have the ego to sit there and say, "My organization, my institution can get you right, can get you healthy. Hey, you're doing this wrong, and this is why. This is why you should do this." Like teams probably thinking like, "Oh, I like this skill set, and I think he'll be healthy with us." And this is how we're going to get healthy. That's just
Exactly.
my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like teams have egos to feel comfortable with their facility, their nutrition, all that shit. If they like a player that hasn't done shit in the
If
league,
they don't,
I mean niggas.
sorry, Junior. If
But
they don't expect to win, there's no risk in taking a chance. But Steve, I'm interested to know how many wide receivers you've got, because if it's 6, surely Easy is already in there.
It's I had to cut down to 5 because of trying to keep defensive rotations in order, like tight ends,
It'll be
things like
more
that.
than
Like,
that.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, go. I this is why I say this every time I do my 53 every year. Go sit down and try to cut down to 53 and see exactly, and keep in mind like the defensive rotations we want to keep and the secondary players that we like and the running backs that we like, and try and figure out how many guys you can actually keep, and also keep in mind our offensive line woes that we've had. Like, this is going to be a nasty 53-man cut down where we're going to lose a lot of talent that we don't want to lose, and we're going to have to get tricky with how we keep certain talents we want to keep.
Steve, I do think they keep 3 tight ends and that can be the 6 because I look at Easy E as an essential kind of big man tight end. They'll put him in that flex to where he can block because that's what I heard about that last year before he got injured, that he's capable of lining up in that flex position. So if he does show something within these 2 weeks of training camp and he pops out, I think they can keep just 3 tight ends and have him as a pseudo receiver slash tight end and line him up in that flex position. I don't know if y'all agree, but that's how
I
But
I
do
that
see it.
agree.
means you're letting Tanner.
God damn it. Fucking shit. God damn it. Can I speak, please? Fuck. That's why for me, Jody Fortson and Easy E have been battling for the same spot, in my opinion. I think that they're fighting for the same spot. I think they're similar roles, and essentially they'll be used in similar ways. So I that's my whole thing from the jump. So with Jordy being a little banged up, Easy coming back now, he got a shot to show something. But to the notion that he won't get picked up, bro, like Martavius Bryant was out the league for like 5-6 years, and he just got a deal. Like, what are we talking about? But go
But
ahead,
again,
Steve.
that's what I'm gonna say. But that means Tanner Connor's just going to the wind, and he started flashing again in the preseason. And his injury, from what we can tell, doesn't seem like, because they're saying day to day, not weak or broken ribs or whatever. So that means Tanner Connor's not making the roster, and they really do like him a lot. They've done everything to keep them on their 53 for the last, what, 3 years going on, 2 years now going on
But
3.
Why is
that's
he
going
not
to be
on
up
the
to
Why is he
Easy
not on the
E.
practice squad?
But that's going to be up to Easy E to eliminate that. That's what I'm saying. Like I think Easy E, Forston, and Tanner are both, all three are
I'm
fighting for
glad
that
y'all
spot.
said that about Tanner Connor, because if I would have said that, I would have been kicked out the space.
Can I chime in here? I want to make two notes, right? One, what we're looking at and what we look for generally as fans is receiving abilities, right? That's not essentially what this team is going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for blockers. They want to see wide receivers that can block. They want to see tight ends that can block. So what shines to us in certain cases might not shine to these guys. But at the same time, we got to stop obsessing over these mid receivers, like, and especially guys that can't stay healthy. Like, I'm sorry, like I love Easy right at the beginning, but Easy E, like how many times has he been available? Right, like at a point we have to say, if you can't stay healthy for a full season, we can't keep a roster spot for you. We have too many needs and we have too much talent on this roster to keep some guy that might get hurt in week 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Well, I think
I don't know.
I mean that they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same. They're trying out Connor. He's been in the same boat. I think they're giving them all the opportunities to see if they need to move on or not. If that was the case, a lot of people in that situation would have been gone off the rip.
Junior, 305 made a great.
We kept him for blocking abilities, right? Like that's why we kept Tanner Connor.
305 made a great point. What we want in a player doesn't mean another team wants in that player. Like his skill set might not work for their offense. So that's one thing. And then two, you have to think like a general manager. If he gets waived, am I going to take this guy and give him a roster spot and he hasn't been able to stay healthy the past 4, whatever, how many years? Like, does that make sense? When there's other guys that's going to be cut, that's going to be healthy. That's because McDaniel had a relationship with Raheem Mostert. Stop bringing up anomalies and trying to compare it to make it make sense. Who is Easy E relationship with and a head coach on another team?
It doesn't matter about that. It
matters
again. OG. We having a conversation. I'm just explaining to you. Look at it. Yeah, there's some teams that don't favor his ability, but like I said before, there's gonna be teams that are out there that's gonna like what he presents and feel comfortable to give him a shot.
Where did they see what he can present at?
College.
I didn't think so they're going to go off the college tape, and he's been in the NFL for how long? Listen to what you're saying.
They have team, but OG, they have players who, like Chad said, haven't been in the league for a long time, but yet come back and still be able to be on a team to try out.
That's a tryout. A cut. You have to put him on the roster. You're not trying him out.
But then you can cut him 3 weeks later.
That doesn't matter. I don't know why are we yelling? Why are we getting so upset? Like, niggas need to relax, bro. Like, God.
Junior, hold on. But I think we got to understand, too, is, like, we're loaded at wide receiver. There are teams that have shitty-ass receiver corps. Like, everybody is as blessed as we are to just poo-poo on talent or whatever the case may be. There are teams that are thirsting for talent. That's signing any and everyone they can for bodies, injuries, and whatever else is piling up. Like, it's not just black and white like that to say like nobody will. I think there's a good chance that somebody could take a shot on. Is it a guarantee?
Minnesota.
Never know. Like, yeah,
the reason you put players on the practice squad. Sorry, 2 seconds. The reason you put players on the practice squad is that or are on the bubble is that they're probably not good enough to make your team. So let's not worry too hard about whether or not they make the team or whether they stay on the practice squad. We're talking about the difference between a 2-time All-Pro and Easy E, and whether we should have one or the other in the team, especially when one has missed the entire preseason. I mean, it's an interesting theoretical conversation, but specifically in this case, if he's not fit, then that's a good thing to do, and we get the benefit of safeguarding someone who might turn out to be okay in Easy E. But if he is fit, and if we did that, that's gross negligence, guys. That's gross negligence.
But Dundee, if he's here, if he's still here, clearly they see him as a fit. So we're
Yeah.
saying that no other team is gonna see him as a fit, while we, the number one offense with plethora of receivers, have not moved on from him yet. That's my point here. Whether he's a roster spot, practice, someone's gonna give him a chance regardless. And I apologize for yelling and being rude, OG, my fault. But that's what I was trying to say. Whether it's a roster spot, a practice squad, some team gave him a chance because of his ability coming out of college. They're gonna look at something. If he hasn't done shit in the league, they're gonna look at something. You can't just pick somebody out and say, "Oh yeah, he's," without research. You got to do some type of
I
research.
apologize too. Y'all can have this conversation. Technically, I'm arguing over Easy E making another team.
We're not
Like
arguing,
y'all
OG.
got
We're
it,
not
man.
arguing. We're
Y'all
just
got it.
talking. We're just talking, OG. We're not even arguing. We're just
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, it was just a question because again, like it's not even that OBJ wouldn't be on the team. OBJ would be on the team, but it is a tool you can use to keep players that might have a use on your practice squad that might get taken. Again, teams like
Too big of
the Vikings just lost their number 2 wide receiver. They may need that wide receiver. San Francisco has 26 injuries. Some of their receivers are banged up. Like these teams, Carolina
it's the
has
nature of,
nobody.
It's the nature of the decision-making process, Steve. That's all it is. You
Yeah.
have to make tough decisions.
No,
Exactly.
I think if Chris Greer was in this conversation, and I've heard him say it before, you put people on the practice squad because you're willing to lose them under practice squad players. We've also got 2 guys. We've got Storm Duck and we've got Isaiah Johnson, both of whom might turn out to be excellent, certainly adequate starters at cornerback. And we're probably going to lose one of them. That's just how it goes.
I had to cut both of them on mine. I had
I
7.
would maybe keep Johnson. I would keep Johnson.
but to your
I had
point,
to cut
then,
them both.
I want to add one more point. We have to keep contracts into the equation as well, right? Easy E, after this year, he's gone. He's not going to get another extension. Even if he pops on our roster, we can't have a third wide receiver on our roster that we're paying, right? Like big money. So whoever it is, it's not like this. We're going to have that guy for another year or 2 or whatever. That's why we got Washington, both Washingtons, I should say. So, like the relevance of when he was drafted is also in this picture. We have to keep that in mind. If we just let him go this year, it's not losing him, and we're going to have him for the next 3-4 years. He doesn't have time to develop at this point. He's either developed and ready, or he's
got another year, I think.
This isn't so.
I mean, at the end of
this is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, he gets 4 years. He's a 4th round pick or 5th round pick.
At the end of the day, he's either going to be.
It's 3 years.
At the end of the day, he's going to be on the roster or he's not. Can you hear me, 305?
Right.
Yeah.
305. Can you hear that?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. This is his 3rd year. This is his last year with the Dolphins, right?
No, he has 1 more year, 4-year contract.
That's what we're saying.
No, I think 305 means that he might be gone regardless, right? 305, is that what you're saying?
No, he's saying his contract
is up. Curious because where he was drafted.
No, if
you're a first rounder, you get 4 years, right?
No,
and then
you get 4 with an option. You get an option for another. Sorry. He's got another year. I just looked it up. He's got another year.
So after this year, he'll still have another year. So you have to factor that into the equation then, right? If you have somebody that you signed as a free agent, or let's say we have Braxton Berrios, or we have one of these other cusp receivers, and those guys are going to be free agents next year, we would rather this guy be slotted in instead, because we know that we basically have his contract for another year. We don't have to worry about paying him extra money or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is another. You're right. That is another conversation, though. I mean, that is a different conversation. But listen, he has to contribute. He has to contribute, and he has to be the guy that's the best at doing what he does. and I'm not sure he is anymore. I think his package of plays is probably being given to Johnny Smith. But
No,
yeah,
he doesn't have to be though. He just has to because it's depth. He has to be the second best
Getting
at
back
what
to what I was
they're
saying.
yeah,
asking.
he has to be the best
What
at that, though. That's what I'm saying. He has to have. Sorry, I wasn't clear, but what I mean is, he has to be the best at doing that thing that they designate for him. And if that's depth, then that's how he makes the roster. Is he makes one of the slots available, whether starting or second, or
Agreed.
and I'm not
what
sure
we
he's going.
what we see as production isn't necessarily statistics. It could be blocking.
But it has
If
to
he
be.
blocks
It's
better
being
than
fit, though,
somebody
right?
else,
It's being
then
fit,
you're
though.
in.
But it's being fit, though, right?
Well, blocking is a statistic, not to be a.
Is it?
It's a
That's
part.
why,
Wide
It's a part of
receiver?
the stat.
but that's why Tanner Connor keeps making
Yeah.
our roster because he plays fullback
Correct.
for us. Like people talk about Chris Brooks
Exactly.
and them seeing him at fullback a few years ago, but Tanner Connor legitimately, when he's on available to play, plays both tight end and fullback for us if Ingold
And
isn't
Connor.
available. So
And
like
Connor.
that stuff is valuable.
Yeah, Steve, I just
got to stay healthy, but that's the issue.
Yeah. So what are you going to do, Steve? Who are you going to cut?
That's my problem. That's why I was asking that question, because if it is a case where there is a little nick or something with him, you could technically stick OBJ on that 4 week injury and then have that extra slot for somebody. And it doesn't even have to be a wide receiver. It could be a corner because
Well, it does seem like OBJ is about ready to play. Like he's ready to practice pretty soon. He's running out there.
Yeah.
So I don't think I not to poop on your idea, Steve, but what if that's not the option? So what do you do?
Do you know if that would
point?
guarantee his contract next year?
You play OBJ and you
If he
make
goes
7
on the
receivers
IR, would that
available.
guarantee his contract?
So off the top of my head, how many O-line? 9?
I'm saying 8 to 9.
I would say
I had 9.
I would say 9 to 10.
I would say 9 and 2 on the practice squad. I see it like that. How many D-line?
Yeah.
5 interior, 4 edge?
No, I had 6 interior, 4 edge, or 5 edge.
Yeah. Two practice squad guys.
I think that's heavy.
Yeah, 5 and 4.
Well, for the rotation that they want to do, if we go 3 wide and then the 2 outside linebackers on a 3-4 set, that's you see what I'm saying? Like we kept 5 last year and we never rotated enough.
We kept 4 last year.
4. It was 4 last year.
In week 1, I posted it earlier. I'll put it back up in the Jumbotron. I had a look at last year's week 1. We were light at defensive tackle. We only had 4 in week 1.
Yeah,
Considering our issues that we had with defensive end last year, we had ACL tears in both of our top defensive ends. It wouldn't surprise me if they go heavy on that.
The 5 and 2 on the practice squad, I think. Anyway, okay. So what else, Steve? How many DBs? 7 and 4. 7 cornerbacks. 4?
Yes.
Okay.
2 nickels. But that was my thing, because it came down to like the other option was cutting Elijah Campbell and hoping he makes it through waivers because he's only on a 1-year deal, and keeping a guy like Patrick Morris who's on a 4-year contract because Needham can both play safety and corner.
Elijah Campbell ain't getting cut.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's any much chance of that.
You know what, Steve? Dundee, what do you agree? Do you agree that May could be on the chopping block, or you think his experience will keep him out?
He's got experience, right? But the question is, like, and that's what I don't know who was speaking a moment ago about contracts. I'm not hearing much about him. I thought he did okay in the games, but you're talking about Elijah Campbell having that dual role. You're talking about Nick Needham being able to play cornerback and also double up at safety with some experience in that. You've obviously got Holland and Poyer. You've also got Ramsey playing this sort of potentially utility role that is sort of part safety, and you've got McMorris looking extremely good.
I didn't keep him, just to be clear. I didn't keep May. I already cut him.
Yeah.
My 4 safeties were Poyer, Holland, Campbell, and McMorris. So
it's hard to know, but that seems Yeah, me. I don't know about me. I don't. He needs to do something. And also, as I say, because you've got Needham there, is like. I would be tempted to have Need. I really like. I don't know if you checked him out at all. I think Ryder did a video. The Isaiah Johnson. Fuck me, he's potentially could be great. He's 6'3". He's got an 80-inch wingspan. He's 210 pounds. He's aggressive. His coverage is good. His speed is good. His reading of the game against backups, and in a preseason game where arguably the offense was fairly beige and kind of obvious, but he looks like worth a punt, I think. Anyway. Getting
back to those wide receivers. Which wide receivers did you pick out then? Let's say you had 6, Steve.
Yep. I had Waddle and Hill, Craycraft, OBJ, or Easy E, which was the cutoff, and I had 5 receivers. That's where I went down to 5 because I kept a 4th tight end, and then the 5th slot went to Malik Washington.
So Berrios is gone.
Yes.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah, you see where my issue came in? Like,
I can understand bringing it up, but I wouldn't mind trying to move moving the guy to the practice squad. If he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. We're deep there. We have a deep wide receiver room, and it's clear and evident, in my opinion at least, that the Dolphins are looking more for wide receivers that can block than they can that are receiving for anybody past their wide receiver 3, let's say. So in the terms of blocking, you're going to find tight ends that are better at doing so than you are going to see wide receivers, in my opinion.
But I think last year.
So does that mean we keep 4 tight ends?
I think last year we had a need for guys that could get open and make plays as well. Sure-handed guys.
That's what I
So
think.
I think blocking can be factored in, but I do think that they are looking for guys that can actually just get open and make.
Well, the problem we had last year, we didn't have a number 3 guy. That was our problem, right? So our number 3 guy was who? Craycraft, maybe.
Berrios.
Yeah, but again, all those guys. But that's what Chad's getting at is the reason we didn't have a number 3 is because the guys
it was actually Durham Smythe.
couldn't get open.
Actually Durham Smythe.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my God!
And Durham Smythe, when given the opportunity, good to see you, Wally. Good to see you. How are you? I seen you coming across the street. Hey, he's on my tab. Let him in the door.
Wow.
Right over to the bar, sir. Right over to the bar. Good to see you.
It was Cedric Wilson, though, right? Like Cedric Wilson didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, Berrios, right. Cedric Wilson, Craycraft was good. He just got hurt. I think that neck bothered him most of the year that he had early.
I think Washington is our number 3.
No, I don't agree.
That was nasty, Steve.
Yo, that was
305.
crazy,
I don't agree with that. You said who's number
that
3?
Was?
You said that neck was crazy.
Nah, my boy. I think OBJ is your 3. I think Jonnu's your 4th, and he's your Malik is your 5th.
Bro, Malik
you think Malik is
your
3rd?
He is a dog. He might not be week 1, but I think by the end of the year.
No, he thinks Julian Hill's gonna be Travis Kelce.
Hold on, shut up.
How are we measuring?
I think you guys are not comprehending like what has been said about Mike. Mike, when that back in the days when we first got him, Jeff Darlington said, when Mike is at his tip-top shape, he dissects his opponents and he goes and he exploits their weaknesses. I think this is the first year that anybody given the hot hand, given the team's weakness, can be the third option. Those guys you guys said as third option, they're all valuable option, but they're not going to be the consistent third option. In my opinion, there's going to be games that yes, you have Waddle and Tyreek, but maybe Achane is the guy that's getting open because he has a mismatch. So the running backs are the third option.
Yeah.
Maybe
You bring up a brilliant wrinkle. You bring up a brilliant wrinkle in relation to the whole offense, which is that some of our tight ends are fullbacks. Some of our tight ends are wide receivers. Some of our wide receivers are tight ends. Like, you know, you've got Jonnu and you've potentially got Fortson. You potentially got Connor. You've got Achane playing wide. Like, that's a lot of variation to be taken into account, and that's going to be really interesting. But in terms of like the roster and the depth chart, that's where it starts to get, you might be able to go with 5 because you've got Achane able to do stuff and because you've got Jonnu. Makes it interesting.
That end around.
But
that end around to Jonnu earlier, oh my God, dude, I thought about freaking busting a nut.
at the end of the year, right? Like somebody's going to end up being the third most targeted person. So on a week-to-week basis, there's going to be a variation, but
it could be Jonnu, could be Smythe.
It's never going to be Smythe. It's never going to be
Smythe. You know that end around was Eazy-E's play from the Chargers game, right?
Exactly.
That same end around.
Exactly.
You know, Eazy-E scored on the spot screen. That screen that Tyreek fumble against the Chiefs over there across the pond.
Yeah.
Well, you're real quiet,
That
Wally.
was
Does
fucked
anybody
up,
else
that
have
play.
that?
A little bit, but I like it.
I can hear you, but you are really quiet.
I'm hanging out, bro. But yeah.
So hold up, Wally. Who's gonna be your third option then, in your
Smythe.
opinion?
I can't call it. I told you this is the first time we have the players that it gives you it really gives you like week by week. Unless you be a convenient team, you're no longer pigeonholed. But this is all depending on these players being who we think they are. Because I was talking mad shit about Cedric Wilson being a valuable third option, and he didn't show up. It's all contingent on the players being who they are, and if we think they are who they are. Like, bro, you have the right game when he's balling as a running back, and then you have Achane just being a crazy pass option.
Yeah, I got Achane is my third target. That's my third. That's my number 3. Achane.
I think so.
I agree.
I think so too because of his versatility. The versatility of
his
game.
I agree.
He go. Oh, now you agree? You just said it was during Smythe.
No, he was last year, but he's gonna be number 4.
Oh my God, bro,
behind Achane. He's gonna be right behind Achane.
You just mentioned during Smythe.
Yes, behind Achane.
Dundee, you heard him, right? I'm not lying.
Behind Achane.
Right, wow, bro, this guy, you're. Oh my God.
Wally, can I just say I thought that was you that was great that you didn't just throw it a name. You showed a certain restraint there. I think it's very difficult to call. I think it depends who's in for the plays that work. There's going to be a lot of distribution. I think that's the overall strategy this year versus previous years is distributing the ball more widely. It's not just going to be Hill, just going to be Waddle.
Agreed, and that's the most important part of it all. So you're right, Wally, whether it's the tight end, whether it's the running back or OBJ, the point is the ball's going to be distributed more openly to other players besides Waddle and Tyreek. That helps with injuries, preventive injuries. That helps with being predictable. That helps with a lot of things.
Think about it. If you play a team like the Jets, right? The Jets have allegedly really good cornerbacks, right? So that's the game that's the during Smythe game.
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, Spliff?
Yeah, I think Junior, what you're talking about is like half the story, right? Because it's like what you would want them to be, more balanced in the ball distribution, right? But the thing is, it's more so what we saw last year. It was a problem with those other guys getting open. So if those guys that you're talking about this year can get open, then I would say that, yeah, what you're saying is correct, but they're going to have to do their part. So to answer your question, you see that they were doing a whole lot of work with Jonnu. So to me right now, they have him doing everything from running back to wide receiver in the slot. They got him doing all the extra work. So to me, he's going to be the third option because even if it's by default, because OBJ just not being healthy or what have you, I believe that Jonnu will probably end up being that third target. that third option. That would be
Cliff,
my best guess.
you may well be exactly right. You may well be exactly right, and that makes a lot of sense. I think the distributing the ball thing comes on both running and passing games, though. I just think we're going to see a more diverse offense. But you're right, because of that thing that you said, and clearly they've got a package for him. That's a smart prediction. It might be that.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows?
But listen, it's I agree with Spliff, but the same case can be made with Achon. So to me, I see that as you want to put those players as much players that could give you a matchup advantage with versatility as you can. So if you put a Jonnu, Achon, and even a Durham Smythe in a game, it doesn't necessarily have to be a running play. And if you add a Jonnu there, you could even add a Rika Waddle, even an Ingo, and that's call it a heavy package and be a bomb play to Tyreek, because what you're doing is presenting the defense and a plethora of problems that they have to figure out pre-snap and post-snap. And that's where I think we have the new advantage as a team, because last season you couldn't say that with Cedric Wilson. You couldn't say that with just Durham Smythe. You got to add players to it. Last year we didn't tap into Achon being a weapon in the pass game. So I think it alleviates the pressures of having, hey, you have to be the third option because we brought you here for
that. Hey,
yes,
sir. Well said.
I think it's what's up, gentlemen? What's up? I think it's a masterful plan, and you keep OBJ kind of healthy. And if teams aren't, have enough film because OBJ is not consistently out there on first, second, and third downs, that's you're playing with magic tricks on them. You know what I mean?
I think Durham Smythe or Jonnu Smith, they're gonna throw a touchdown this year.
Jonnu's gonna have a big role.
They're gonna throw a touchdown.
Like I don't see a world where OBJ even starts the season right now, because it's like, he hasn't been out there getting any reps. But Tua just kind of like spilled the beans yesterday. It's like, I basically haven't even worked with this dude yet. So how you expect to just throw him in there and have him start in week 1? I don't see that happening, first of all. So I think right now he's probably going to start the year on the pup, or however they're going to try to stash him away or whatever. Yeah, I don't see OBJ starting.
That was my idea. Because I was like, I did my, like I said, I know you weren't in the space, but I did my 53, and I keep getting down to 55 players, and I'm in a situation where I got to find room, and it's OBJ or keeping a guy like Eazy-E and putting OBJ on the 4-week injury reserve, and it opens up the spot to have an extra receiver that we can put on the practice squad once OBJ comes back in. That way we have talent if an injury happens.
You know what, Steve? If next week OBJ isn't activated, then I think that's more likely going to be the case.
Yeah, but I've seen him out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've seen him out there running. I haven't seen him working with the team, but I've seen him out there running, doing workouts and shit. So I don't know.
I don't really see the urgency being activated next week, because you really don't need him for the first part of the season, right? So you want him for the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? When shit gets real, you know what I'm saying? When you get into that playoff drive mode, you know what I'm saying? You want OBJ for that part, the back end of the season, not the front end. So to me, they would just like slow cook him. You know what I'm saying? That you notice they haven't really even disclosed what it is that that his injury is. So to me, they're just slow cooking him until the end of the year. That would be the smart thing to do.
The pushback I have against that is if you don't get chemistry, you can't
kind of
practice.
Like along the lines of what Steve is saying, I can see the Dolphins doing that just to stash him away and freeing up a roster spot so they can stay flexible. And if they need somebody, they can elevate somebody up, whatever. But I like what you're saying, Steve. I think you're on the right track.
The problem with that split, though, is you don't build chemistry on the pup. You can't practice on the pup. You can't practice on IR.
Right. OBJ hasn't been out there. When was the last time you see OBJ out there practicing, right? So why wouldn't he just go on the pup?
Give me a second. Let me land the idea, though. What I'm saying is all the things you're saying are right, except if the issue is that he has got no chemistry with Tua, he can't build chemistry with Tua once the season starts. And he can't build chemistry with Tua at all if he's on the PUP. Like he can't do a single rep.
I get what
So
you're
that would be my only pushback against that.
Yeah,
The IR you can though. You get 2 practice weeks on the IR.
So he comes in week 5 after getting off the PUP, and he's exactly where he would be now. No better, no further forward.
I get what you're saying. I think, bro, I'm not disagreeing.
I see what you're saying, Dundee.
I'm not saying that won't happen, but just saying that doesn't solve that problem.
You gotta. No case is
right. So you
just gotta.
Yeah, I can barely hear Wally.
Oh, you can't hear me?
You're really low.
Oh shit.
Wally, you're super quiet.
Can you hear me now?
We always heard you. It's just your.
I can hear you. You're just quite quiet.
Oh, I blame.
Can you guys see the same usage as of when he went to the Rams mid season?
Wow.
Going in, you know what I mean? And he was a major focal point at in the latter half of the season.
I don't need him to be a major focal point. I need him.
Exactly.
I need him to be an asset.
No,
I need him to be a major focal point when teams are taking away Waddle and Hill. That's what I need in that situation.
That's kind of contradictory. Like if you want the main focus is the main focus. The main focus is the big three: Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. Everything else is to fall in line. If those guys are gone, I need you to be an asset. I need you to be here while we brought you here, and everybody should fall in line.
But he may not start off as
Who did we see as the boundary receiver when we went out to practice the other day, Wally?
But
who do we see out there as the boundary receiver?
I mean, it was Craycraft that day.
Right. So you see, they're preparing for that right now. They're already covering their ass, dog.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, I like what I see from Easy E. I like what I see from Malik. So I'm not really concerned right now. I just want look, the Dolphins as a whole. Like that's what I've been saying in different chats. Like they're playing with us with these injuries and with these veterans.
That's a fact.
And all these things. Like I don't want you guys to take it with a grain of salt. But they're lying to us because there's a lot of other shit that's been done being done. You see some players dressing up, not doing shit, and you think, they're hurt. They just got a regular vet. They're manipulating the verbiage of all those situations to their advantage. So right now, bro, I am taking everything with a grain of salt because I don't know shit. I don't know.
We think that we want OBJ at the end of the season, but actually what we want at the end of the season is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle healthy.
Exactly.
And the way that you get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle healthy is by not running them into the ground during the season. And that OBJ's role in some part is to give some relief for those guys, keep them healthy.
Yes.
And I don't at all disagree with everything everybody said about them lying to us, about the might be playing games with OBJ. I've thought that myself. But if he is healthy, he has to go in and he has to start working the chemistry. You don't have to play him every down. You don't have to give him a lot of snaps, but you have to start to build that, and you need to keep Tyreek and Jalen healthy.
Hey,
not
Dundee,
OBJ.
and I think that you can go into it. You can say, hey, maybe he's not ready, or maybe you don't want him to play game one. He's still on the 53, and you just make him inactive. And then he still goes and does everything that he needs to do compared to, hey, no, he's not good, and you're going to go and you're going to put him on, the IR for 4 weeks or something like that.
Or you could do what we did with Robert Hunt. We dress him.
No, that's true. But at the end of the day, there still is 6 people that aren't playing every single game, and one of which is going to be obviously the difference between the starting quarterback like the backup. So one of those guys is going to be inactive. But there's nothing to go and say, hey, you know what? Game one, OBJ he isn't there, and you go and you keep him there. I just don't think that OBJ is one of those guys.
Let's keep it a buck.
He's not going to be on the IR unless he has a setback.
Is what week one of these practices of like games we're starting into week 2, right? So from what you've seen of our first 2 opponents, you really think we need OBJ out there like that?
I mean, I'm
Pass
gonna
it
go and
again.
say I want as much talent that is gonna be able
Of
to go and
course.
help. So
But
like,
listen,
I'm
if
not gonna. So I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna.
give you, I'm gonna tell you what OG says, dog. If you're depending on OBJ for you to have a successful season, the season is not gonna be successful.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I'm
Mark,
planning on
let me
Waddle
ask
and
you a
Hill being
question.
fit to have a successful season.
Let me ask you a question, Mark. Do you believe that OBJ is healthy and they're just holding him out or some shit right now? Like, what's your
No, I mean, I
what's
think
your
that
mindset on this?
I think that he's a pro that's been in the league for multiple years, and I think that need if he's healthy. And once again, I don't know that, but assuming that he's been running at practice, been doing all that stuff. I think he's very much like Teron Armstead. You need 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, they're going to say, "Hey, we're ready to go." Like he's there doing everything that you do. If he's going to run the right route, then you believe that Tua's going to put it where he needs to, and he can go make a play. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that he's going to start game one. I think he's going to be on the 53. Maybe game one he's inactive. But if you're asking me, do I want OBJ on the active roster when we play Jacksonville? Yes. I want him during Buffalo. I want him during everything. If he can play, I want him to play. I don't like he's a different. He may not be the guy that we say we're building an offense around, but he's
No.
a guy that can go and if you throw him 3 passes, he has the ability to make game-breaking plays, and that's what the difference in the Dolphins team this year.
He can get open.
Like Durham Smythe is a guy who's very reliable, but he's not breaking a tackle and going 40 yards down the field compared to Jono Smith. Like River Craycraft is a very solid guy. He's going to make catches. He's going to do what you need him to do, but he's not breaking a tackle and going 60 yards down the field like OBJ. So give me as many of those people on the field, on the active roster that is possible, and then we'll see how the chips may.
The only problem with Jonnu Smith, and it's already been rearing its ugly head, is the man has butterfingers, and that's where Durham Smythe and Jonnu Hill have to pick up that slack. You need those sure-handed guys to make it through the season as much as you need the game breakers.
My only pushback is why do we say that he has, because he dropped the pass in practice? He's dropped.
No, because he's been like that since he got into the NFL. Like Jonnu Smith does not have the greatest hands. He was that way in New England. He was that way with Tennessee. He was that way with Atlanta. He's not the most sure-handed tight end.
Yeah.
His ability is when you can get him to the ball to him on a short yardage, he can take it for a bunch of yards after that short yardage catch.
I would have to. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I would have to look up to see how many drops that he had. I think sometimes that something like that might just be a little bit overblown. But like I said, I haven't done any research on it, so I will defer to you and say that you're right.
No, the tight end room is, heavy competition. I got a horse I'm betting on right now. His name is Julius Hill, but you know what I'm saying? I think he's the one that's going to emerge as a bright spot in the tight end room this year. I see big things for him.
Yeah. I think we all agree with that. Again, like Jonnu Smith's going to be explosive when he gets the ball in his hands. But I think there are roles and there are jobs for different players, even in the same position.
We agree.
Durham.
But I'm just saying. Now, I don't know. I know there's some people that like French and who still think Smite. I just see Julian Hill surpassing him. Like I already see him surpassing him already.
And again, Han French, because I want to clarify this because this was a big thing today. I want to be clear on this.
Here we go.
Next year, Julian Hill will probably be tight end 1 as long as he continues to develop from what we saw this season. However, going into week 1 and until probably the middle of the season, Durham Smythe will be your tight end 1 in terms.
Hey.
Hold on. Can I finish what I was trying to say? We had this conversation when the space opened. I'm talking about in terms of snap percentages. He may not get the same targets, but in terms of how many snaps he takes in a season, which is how I choose who's tight end 1, wide receiver 1, running back 1, that is where Durham Smythe will be. He will probably have the most snaps
Yo,
of any of the tight
I can
ends.
compromise with that. You know
yo,
why?
Hey,
hold on,
Because
hold
hey,
on, hold
he'll
on.
be in there
The
mainly as a
widest
blocker.
net,
So you
the
could be right
widest
about that.
net
He'll be in there
ever.
mainly as a blocker.
hey,
Steve just
Steve.
casted the widest net ever. He
Hey,
I
said
can't hear
Julian
you.
Hill next season, but then said this season, but then
I
said
only
next
speak in
season,
terms of
and then
fantasy
add a snap
value.
percentage.
So
hey, I get all that, but hey, Steve, just to go back to your point about drops, how many drops do you think is a lot compared to like targets? He had 70 targets last year, and he had 4 drops.
That's good.
Like to me, that's not a lot. I just think that that's
No.
very overblown with saying that. Hey, that's my only pushback. Like I just feel like we throw terms out there and we go and we see certain things and we just go and we're like, oh, hey, he has butterfingers. He can't really catch. Like his catch percentage last year, it was 71. The year before was 71. Like the worst it's ever been was in 2021 when he was with the Patriots, when he had 45 targets, he had 4 drops, and that was at a 62% clip. But at a 71.4% is pretty good. Just wanted to
just a
I would just
just a
push
caveat
back a
on
little
that,
bit
just to
on that,
say
just to say like, yo,
it
you just
depends
don't
on the
know how the
type of
drops
player.
happen. If I see the drops, maybe I would judge
Exactly.
it differently. But like if they put it in your chest, you know what I'm saying, and then you didn't, you drop that, oh man, you know what I'm
I'm with
saying?
you.
And they
I
don't
don't know,
register.
I'm just
They
saying.
don't register every single drop either, Mark.
like
Again,
an
we've seen
uncontested,
Tyreek
yeah.
Hill drop balls that were perfectly thrown to him, or were even slightly difficult catches,
Pause.
but they were
But why
dropped,
would
That's
if
crazy. Pause.
and they don't
first off,
count
that
them.
was crazy. But
That
second
was
of all,
crazy.
why
Pause.
if
What
it,
was
if
that?
it hits his
What
hand,
did you
why would
say?
it register as a drop?
What did you say,
If
Steve?
it
I
hits
missed it.
his
If it hits
hands,
his
it doesn't
hands, is
always
it like
register as a drop.
uncontested? Like how bad were the drops? I'd have to look
Yeah.
at those drops to see
I
When
one
want to
way or
see
the
Cliff.
other. I really don't know one way or
I'm
the
not
other with him.
Exactly.
I'm not coming for Steve at all. I'm not
Pause.
about it.
Hey, pause.
That's
I'm not coming
crazy.
at it.
Pause.
I'm not trying to just go and say, hey, no, I got it. My no Diddy. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying, hey, what he's saying is incorrect. What I'm just saying is I think we use terms too much and we go and we just say, hey, this is the case. And then when we go and we look up stats, then we go and we see, hey, it's not correct. Because at the end of the day, whether or not they register drops for John O when it's here, they're going to do that same exact thing for everybody in the league. They're not just going to say, oh, well, for Durham Smythe, we're going to make sure that he gets all the drops. But John O. Smith, no, he doesn't really get that. It's not working that way.
But again, it's one of those things of you have to understand that what they see, what they register as certain stats, they don't always do that at a fully correct thing. Again, we seen Tyreek Hill drop
I'm not worried.
passes
I'm
this
not
year
worried about Tyreek.
and they don't
I'm not
register
worried
them.
about that. What I'm saying is,
But that's what I'm telling you. It's I'm using it as a reference point
I
of that just because they say he only had 4 drops, that doesn't mean he only had 4
so what
drops.
you're saying is
You saying he
you
had
are
more
looking
drops?
from that aspect.
That's
So
crazy.
you,
Hey, we gotta.
I'm not the only one. Chad even agreed with me that he has a drop issue. I don't know, like
Well, I
that's
won't.
again, it's
I don't even think it's about a drop issue. It's about that he's got a fairly limited range of catches, is what he's got. He's not got brilliant hands, and he does occasionally drop
fair.
obvious ones.
That's fair. I'm
It's
just saying
not.
I don't
He
feel.
is.
I just
Throw that
don't feel
man the
like.
ball.
Huh?
Miss Bianca Jones, you don't seem like a
Oh,
Dolphin fan. I'm not gonna let you up here because you
Yeah,
might have mischievous ways. Uh,
I, I
go
just
ahead,
don't.
continue.
I just think it's too early to say he's got.
DeAndre Jones.
also, I think we're going to use him in ways that make it easy for him.
yeah, I agree with that. I think they're going to do things to make it easy. Again, that's where his specialty is. Better like short yardage passes that he takes for 20 plus yards on the out back end of the play.
Yeah.
Like that's his specialty. He's not he's not going to go out there 40 yards deep every other play and catch a missile in double coverage.
And dive
Like
to catch it. Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I agree.
Bro.
we're not asking him to do what we asked Mike Gesicki to do with
Bro,
Flores.
what are we
Can
complaining about now?
I don't know. Steve is on a tangent right now.
I don't know what's
We're
going on with
complaining that we
Steve,
can't hear you
bro.
loud enough.
Like, what's he wilding out about?
Hey, really quick, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
If you support Durham Smythe today by 6 o'clock, if you could just let me know on my DMs that you're with me, because everybody who doesn't let me know they're with me when the season starts and he's balling out, and I unleash hell on the listeners. I'm gonna call y'all out too, because y'all ain't have my back.
Trash,
the
bro.
speakers, I already know the speakers don't got my back, but I'm talking to the listeners now. So I just want to know who with me.
I'm with you. I'm with you, dog. Durham Smythe. Durham Smythe.
There it is.
I'm
There's one. I only got one.
Durham
I
Smythe.
love how you guys bicker at each other about your takes all the time, but when I defend my take, I'm on a tangent.
He's winding you up. Can I
Steve,
say Durham
I was
Smythe
with
is
you.
today? Durham Smythe is #1 tight end on the depth chart, so something has to happen to change that.
I mean, he's
That's a
always
fact.
been. He was number
So
one
he's not always been, has he? I remember
Mike
Keith
Gesicki
Jackson
was
was #1.
I just don't understand how we gonna say the man is trash when a lot of the big plays that happen on offense don't happen without him.
I might have missed the meeting, but did somebody say he was trash?
French, that's Wally's take. Just
Wow.
like Pogba's trash.
Come on, he's not trash.
Hey,
Fuck
Calvin, you
me.
with me, my boy?
I got all the takes.
Listen,
What
y'all
kind of
can't
way
stop
y'all
the people.
everybody gotta agree. I don't like
See, hold
Durham
on.
Smythe. Yeah, I don't like Durham Smythe.
See,
Yeah,
this is what happened when the people start to stand up for
He's
themselves.
soft as baby shit. He's supposed
Hey,
to be a good blocker.
hey,
And he
really
has
quick,
been, his
to the
blocking
listeners,
stats have been
to
going
the
down the
listeners.
past 3
I
seasons.
don't,
He
to the
can't.
listeners, I
Shit
don't
on
mind taking.
Liam. How you gonna shit on Durham Smythe and K for Liam? You want to talk about blocking? Blocking? Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's what we doing?
Durham Smythe is tight end 1, baby. Put me on the list.
Who's catching bodies? Liam or Durham Smythe?
Yeah.
Yeah, Durham Smythe
Durham
catching up.
Smythe.
He dropping back.
Hey, Smythe for gotta your life.
Hey, Calvin, you've been elevated to sergeant. Congratulations, sir.
Wow. I mean, who led the team in catch percentage last year? Durham Smythe. Who was the third most targeted player? Durham Smythe.
Steve, who's the key contributor?
This is
I agree with what I was saying. He's on the
nasty
That
work.
man catches the ball, he
Durham
gets
Smythe.
tackled by air, bro. Get out of here, bro.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna pull some
We
strings.
finished the
Somebody ask
season
you.
with 0
We
touchdowns for
gotta
my
get
tight
you on the
ends, but
show.
y'all like this is like a flex or something y'all trying to do right now.
Exactly. Oh, we hate
now we
Durham Smythe. He
flexing.
has
Split,
0 touchdowns.
you the main one. You raggedy ass. Talked about you also on
Nah,
Where's
but
Monday.
Julian Hill's
I can recall
touchdowns?
you
Where's
ungrateful mother.
Julian
No, the
Hill?
reason why I'm doing that is because you
Raggedy
ungrateful
ass kid.
motherfuckers were the first ones talking shit about Gesicki. Oh, Gesicki can't do shit after the catch. He can't do this. He can't do that. All right, well, fine. He's gone now, but then you got 0 touchdowns from your tight ends, and I hear you guys caping for guys like Durham Smythe.
That was a Tua issue. That was a
Thank
Tua
you.
issue.
That shit is egregious, dog.
That was a Tua issue because if Durham
Oh,
Smythe
now
is
the Tua. Now we turning on Tua for Durham Smythe.
now
That's
Tua can't be
insane.
accountable. Now
That's
Tua can't be
insane.
accountable.
That's insane.
Tua relied on his tight end, and if Tua is putting everything on the plate of the tight end, I'm now then going to ask you to run 15 yards down the field after I've just asked you to block and score 2 touchdowns. Like,
Oh, Gesicki can't block. Gesicki can't block. But how good of a blocker is
No, he can't block. He just got murdered
Yeah,
today.
but the same guy that
Like,
could block can't catch touchdowns. The guy that could block can't catch touchdowns. Can't do nothing with the ball. Never forget.
Durham Smythe.
Never forget.
Durham Smythe led our team in
525
first downs. What the fuck?
When that boy Gesicki had the catch of the game in the back of the end zone in that Baltimore game, y'all ungrateful motherfuckers. I'll never let that go, dog. Can't stand you niggas.
Listen, Mike Gesicki was only good at catching one-handed catches when you're down 14.
So now we turning on Tua for Durham Smythe. That's crazy.
No, what I'm telling you is
I don't want to hear it. I heard what you said, bro.
Yeah, and I said it again. I tweeted.
Oh, man. You literally said, nah, it's Tua's fault.
He didn't trust the tight end.
Nah, but they can bring in tight ends who can't block, and y'all give them passes. You see what I'm saying? It's all good.
That's great.
You guys can drop passes in the.
Hold on. Everybody hold their thoughts. I apologize for the mute. I thoroughly apologize. In the Jumbotron, Exhibit A, what do you see in that photo? Can someone please describe to me what they see in that photo?
Man.
I circled it in red for you, just to help you out. What do you
wide ass open?
Looked like a touchdown to me.
And that pass went to Jalen Waddle in the back of the end zone. So there were opportunities for the tight ends. There wasn't a conservative effort to target them. They weren't a focal point of the offense at no point in time. They were never, there was never any emphasis on them at all. They were just there. So, I mean, to say that...
I just don't want to give you the ball because look, I'm gonna give you the ball right there. You'll get talked about them at 49 because you that slow, cuz
49.
All the attention goes to Hill and Waddle, and no one cares about Durham Smythe running wide open over the middle.
He gonna get tackled by number 49, nigga, number 97.
While they double.
You're a very intelligent man. If Durham Smythe is running upfield and that linebacker is coming across
laterally,
momentum of Durham Smythe is taking him where?
The wide receiver.
He ain't got no momentum because he's soft.
Talking about.
Now Durham Smythe.
They talk about me going on.
He got to get in though. Is he gonna get in from over there, man?
I ain't never gonna forget when first turned on duo for Durham Smythe. This is crazy.
Steve.
I don't know if Smythe's gonna score from over there, man. He's a little slow.
He ain't gonna score, cuz. He ain't gonna score. He's not gonna score. He's gonna get tackled on the one.
He'll get tackled on the 5.
Yo, Flip, hear me out. This is gonna happen. He gonna get tackled at the 1. We gonna pass the ball first and second down, run it on third, get stuffed, and run it again and not get a damn touchdown. Cause that's the fuck we did last season.
Right, he's gonna catch that at the 5 and get tackled at the 1. I agree. He ain't getting in.
Bro, if the wide receiver block right there, he walks in for a touchdown like he would.
Now we got a block for a tight end.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. Y'all want to troll?
You want Durham Smythe block it? I got
This is how narratives get started. But I guess
that's Julian Hill. Now Julian Hill, he's gonna score.
He's scoring that.
You mean Mr. Fumble?
Yes, sir. He's scoring that. Yes, sir.
You mean Mr. Fumble?
Okay.
Donald Smith scoring that too. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alec Ingle scoring that too. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He'll do last season.
Yeah, and Connor scoring that too.
You know what I remember, Chad? You know what I remember? I remember him getting a pass at the 5-yard line and no touchdown. I'm just saying.
Steve, do you remember doing Smythe scoring a touchdown last season? Because I don't.
Do you remember Julian Hill scoring a touchdown despite getting the ball at the 5-yard line? Oh shit! Oh man!
Yeah.
Who was supposed to be tight end 1? He can't score either. So I guess we don't get no tight ends. You see how narratives fuck up when the truth comes out?
I told you, John was number 1. You've been on your throwing hand. I'm talking about John.
The fact that Stephen Wally and the
roster 10 wide receivers and 0 tight ends. Problem solved.
Nah. I ain't with none of you guys. I'm on my side.
My opinion is totally biased. I have no shame in that. I'm tired of Durham Smythe. This is some bullshit.
Jonnu is a souped up Taysom Hill. That's what he is to me. He's not even souped up. He a Taysom Hill.
Damn, Taysom Hill. And y'all be tapping for Tanner Conner in here, dog. All right. Nasty work, dog.
Conner was gonna be the next thing. Now we can't. That's crazy.
Taysom Hill.
Can really be your own people, boy. I tell you.
I bet Durham Smythe, the first one on the field, play 1.
Yeah, a running play.
Right, he'll be blocking. He will not be going out for a pass.
Hey, boy. Hey, don't worry, boy.
That's what Gesicki couldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't throw the ball to the tight end with the best hands. You totally shouldn't do that. That makes no sense, right?
I'm telling people in the listening, when you see me on the timeline going at it with these people, stay out of it. Stay out of it. Don't be like, French, you need to chill. You need to chill. I went to work and came back and you still at it. You need to chill. You should have told them they needed to chill today and you didn't. So
what happened to the Fortson campaign? Where are those guys at? Those guys that were talking about Fortson was going to be the.
He's got no hands. He got his hands from the same company Braylon Sanders did.
Hey, whatever. Anybody over Smythe. So yeah, Fortson too. Let's get it.
Fortson, Tanner Connor, and Easy E are in the same bucket right now.
Anybody over sorry ass Mike. Say what y'all want.
They all banged up, man. Somebody got to stay healthy.
Easy E about to steal this last little spot right quick, man.
He is.
Y'all get ready. Stay around for it.
Luke, very few things would make me happier in the rest of the preseason. That would be fucking great.
It's gonna be the comeback story, man. Fuck that.
Dundee, I ain't gonna forget you turned your back on me.
Nah. I ain't never gonna forget. I ain't gonna never forget when you turned your back on Tua for doing right. You turncoat.
Wait till I have to come across the pond and go.
Damn turncoat.
Now I'm gonna have to attack Dundee on Sunday.
Over here talking about doing smart over.
Let me say my name. What did I do?
That's crazy.
I gotta attack Dundee on a Sunday now.
Nah. You don't gotta attack Dundee. Don't worry about it, Dundee. We here for you. Don't let Frank come on.
Don't keep out there yet.
River Craycraft, tight end 1.
All y'all non-believers.
Yeah.
I'm telling the people who talking about that. Oh, they indecisive too. You're a non-believer. Stay on that side.
We doing non-sensitive narratives. Listen, River Craycraft, tight end 1. There's my narrative.
Yeah.
Best blocker on the team.
A lot of people got my dog already cut, and I'm telling
Hayden
you,
Rucci.
Don't throw that dirt on him yet. Do not bury my dog yet. He got something to say.
I got a question.
What about this guy? Just want to say, if none of you've watched much tape of Hayden Rucci from last weekend, go and do it. Oh fuck, he's the best blocker tight end we've had for a long time.
He turned a tight end to a child. He treated that man like he was a kid.
Defensive end, yeah. That was bad.
Hey, so I got a concern that was around last year too, right? Fucking 3rd and 1, 3rd and shorts. I saw it in the preseason game, and then they go for a deep shot. Anybody else? Am I the only one?
No, that ain't going nowhere. It's going to be the same this year until proven otherwise.
Oh my god. Dude, this shit gives me so much.
It's what I'm. Does a tiger change the stripes?
Only thing about that,
you're right.
He did throw the touchdown to Tyreek,
and I'm gonna leave it at that. I think McDaniel's a nice, brilliant young head coach, but a tiger will not change his stripes.
Well, I'll push back on that because we saw plenty of plays and practices where they're in that 3rd and 1 and they're running off the tackle and tight end, and that's where you also see.
Down, they got a touchdown. But how many times is that going to fail over how many times it succeeds?
I don't think there's any doubt
that shit drives me crazy.
We're definitely attempting to change some things that give us a better chance. But I also accept what you're saying, Spliff. I think McDaniel's issue is not. I take the stripes analogy. I think the issue with McDaniel is not that he can't spend a preseason planning to do something, or a week before a game pre-planning to do something. I think the issue for McDaniel, if he has one, is in the minute. It's the second half of a game when a team adjusts, is running the ball or continuing to run the ball. But we've definitely set things up in terms of the blocking scheme, in terms of a little bit more meat on the bone on the offensive line, with bringing Wright in, who's a slightly more north-south runner. I think there's a chance that we're going to try, but you're right. Until, like you said, Steve, until we see it, we're going to have to.
I still don't understand why we don't pass the ball to or hand the ball off to Ingold on 3rd and 1, but whatever. I mean, we have guys that would string.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that we've got Jalen Wright doesn't mean to say we're necessarily going to call the play because we had Wilson. So, we had Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks is 230 pounds.
Yeah, but this line.
Wait. Let's not compare Chris Brooks to fucking Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright is a much better.
Yeah, but we're looking for talking 3rd and 1 though here, right?
I know.
I'm just saying we had the option.
Trust
to do
me, don't get me
year.
wrong. We should have done it last year on plays that we had the open ability to. We just didn't.
I'll give Chris Brooks the ball 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Why the fuck not? Rather than Buster.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Wright is a fucking stud though.
Sir.
Like he can do.
I understand that. But sometimes you gotta understand what's going on right now. Like, yes, he's probably more than likely gonna be the guy to get the ball. But to say, oh no, let's forego Christian Brooks because That's insane.
Yeah, the problem is play calling, not ability.
I get rid of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, you go ahead. My bad.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I can go ahead and want to say thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying, really enjoying this conversation. I want to say something here. Make sure to sign up for PrizePicks.com, the official fantasy partner of 5 Reasons Sports. Now legal in the state of Florida. Sign up with a code 5, and you can make your first play, and PrizePick will give you $50 more to play. No string attached. So remember, guys, use the promo code 5. That's FIVE, and you can get $50 more to play. No string attached. Appreciate y'all. Let's continue the conversation.
Never forget when French turned on Tua for Durham Smythe.
Hey, for real though, shout out to the Vikings. I got a
No one
receiver and a
person's
backup
bigger than the
quarterback
nation.
for an offensive lineman for you.
Never forget, man. I don't give a fuck about the Vikings. Never forget, French. I'm never.
No one person's bigger than the nation. Everybody's held accountable.
Smythe Hall of Fame. Tua is trash. That's all I heard.
You're dead to me.
Hey, yo.
I never forget when all the listeners turned their back on me and Durham Smythe.
I can't believe you over here. You turn your back on Uno for fucking Durham Smythe?
I just said he didn't
Did I
concentrate
hear
on the
that
tight end.
correctly? Yes. He said it's a Tua issue. He literally said it's a Tua issue.
He is exaggerating.
No, 305, butt out.
He's exaggerating.
Butt out.
Look at the jumbotron. We
butt out.
An example of
butt
Tua
out.
throwing the ball to Waddle in the back of the end zone, which was dropped.
Bro, he didn't slander him. He
Durham Smythe, the body of Michael Parsons.
Oh, my bad.
No, we know French. We know what he was doing. We know
French
what he was
always
doing.
has an agenda, 305.
Yeah, he ain't slick. He ain't slick. Nah, don't try to help him.
Guys, you guys can go back to the podcast and listen. That's the part I love about the podcast, guys. You can go back and listen and call me out. Clip the audio.
I'm not defending another man in here.
Clip the audio and tag
time.
me if I'm lying. But I told y'all all this, which is why the people be believing me. Which is why the people
you don't let me into that conversation.
You're a freaking liar.
I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing.
I don't like to leave anybody behind.
Just got promoted to sergeant.
305. This is
For the record,
normal.
I'm not a Smythe fan.
305. This is normal. Just they push back at each other.
You have a fake
constantly.
agenda. You need more soldiers because all you people do is lie. And nobody wants to get behind a liar. Durham Smythe.
Listen,
they got the body of Micah Parsons.
Inside Leverage has more friendly fire than Brandon Jones in coverage. Okay.
I can't believe this man said Tua is at fault for Durham Smythe not having touchdowns.
Direct quote.
I know. Who you think Durham Smythe was throwing himself the ball?
Oh.
You think Tua with one of the
Did that make it
so now we're talking shit about Tua. He has the best process, one of the most accurate passes out here. Great decision making. He decided not to give that bum the ball because he wasn't reliable.
Well,
the top 20
highest catch percentage on the team, but not reliable.
That drop touchdown wasn't reliable either.
How many drops? When did you see Durham Smythe?
Somebody hitting a bomb.
He dropped a few. He dropped some shit. He bomb.
Durham Smythe has the best catch percentage of any player on our team. He was the third most targeted player.
Thrown to him. That's the stupidest stat ever.
Strength of Aaron Donald.
You sound dumb as fuck when you say that.
He probably
shit.
should have more yards.
Oh my god, he has the best catch rate. He only had 5 catches, nigga. What are you talking about? That's stupid.
Next time I'll tell Durham Smythe to throw
fuck
himself
out
the
of
ball
here,
more.
man.
I think he was also the third highest targeted player on the
170
team.
catches, 60 plus. He ain't get 60 plus. Where's the 60 plus there? You have like 20 catches, nigga.
He had 44 targets and 35 receptions.
Nigga, Tyreek
that's fucking significant, bro.
Tyreek had that in 2 fucking games, nigga.
Oh,
well, yeah, because Tyreek Hill's literally the best player in football.
So missing with that bullshit.
No, he's telling you now Durham Smythe has to have the production of Tyreek Hill. I got it.
Man, listen,
I
nobody's
got it.
throwing that man on 50
Now
passes,
I'm
cuz
understanding
you
you.
listen.
So
If
he
you
has to
haven't
have
seen
the blocking ability of Anthony
what
Fasano
blocking ability,
and
bro?
the
Shut
catch
the fuck up.
radius of
Where the
Tyreek
fuck?
Hill.
Where the fuck was that
I
blocking
got you.
ability against the Bills?
I got you.
He averaged 10 yards per reception as a tight end as the fourth option.
40
You
catches.
talking about Mr.
He
First
had
Down.
nothing.
That's what we call
They
him,
didn't even
Mr.
look
First
at
Down.
him. And you
Yo.
want to bring me an outlier stat, bro? Stop.
Listen.
You're living life of outliers.
Listen.
Oh,
I'm
he's the
a
best shooter.
contact.
If you
contact the
compare his
customer
volume to the
service.
other guys, he had 40 catches. The other guys had double. Near triple. But yeah, he's a good option. Shut the fuck up.
I'm a contact customer
You want to
service
cut
of Inside
straight up?
Leverage.
Like,
I'm
you want to just go?
I'm gonna call the customer
Okay.
service department.
I'll tell you one
customer
thing.
service
How
department
much
of Inside
do you really
Leverage
love the offense or
and
not?
see what we can
Let's
do.
cut Dorian Smite. Use that money to get another left guard or a center or
Oh,
another right
now
guard.
you want to cut?
Let's get it.
I mean, we got
Let's get
money.
it.
We got like
let's
30.
save money.
You know, it actually costs you money to cut him,
all
right?
right.
Like, it actually make you lose money cutting him.
You want to cut
Come
your toe
on.
off
Give
the
a
Adam
shit
Pinky?
about no $1 million, nigga.
So you want to cut your toe off the Adam Pinky? So you trying to?
You
cut your
notice
toe off
how
the
he
Adam
had to
Pinky?
change what he was
That
saying?
makes sense.
Oh, we could
No,
use
he
his
won't
money
get
to sign some people. Oh, it costs us more?
You know what? Really quick, this is my only mute. I am getting the DMs from some of the listeners. I see the Durham Smythe support, so I'll throttle back a little bit. I see. I was just trying
No,
to
there's
make
a place
sure,
for him, dog. There's a place for him, dog. For sure, there's a place for him for sure. Just not as a receiving tight end. You know, he's primarily a blocking guy. You know.
I mean, what did?
Hold
on.
Flip, he was Mr. First Down. Every time he caught it, it was 10 yards first down.
So he had like 5 catches, and he was Mr.
So we're
First
talking.
Down. Those
We're
5 catches.
talking about Julian Hill for tight end 1, right? How many targets Julian Hill have? How many receptions Julian Hill have? Oh man, shit.
Spliff, if you get the delivery and you double it and they stop
guy
giving
that
you
was
the delivery,
undrafted rookie
they
that
fumble
finally
in the bag.
is finally finding his way, and he's showing that he's showing way more promise than Dorian Smythe. Hell yeah, I'm talking about that guy.
Yeah, my thing is with Julian Hill, he's already improved his blocking, right? And he's a pretty decent, receiver. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. It's not that bad. You've heard nothing but good things about him all season, right? He's improved.
I'm gonna chill out.
With a 50-50 catch percentage, but okay.
I don't give a fuck. He's better than Dorian Smythe, and he's looked better than him all camp.
4 reception on 9 targets. But that's the future. Okay.
But you want to talk about 40 receptions. See
that's why you gotta talk to the people because you'll sometimes think
Well, Smite is like the bare minimum of a tight end, dog, right?
Now exactly, he was the bare minimum.
Well, he's a blocking tight end. That's it. Not every tight end's George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
Stop. He's trash.
Yeah, you said the same thing about
George Kittle is a blocking tight end. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but George Kittle isn't a.
All you got to do is tell Wally he wasn't saying that about Mike Gesicki. Somebody go ahead and see me that Mike Gesicki and Wally tweet.
George Kittle is also an anomaly. Let's be real.
Mike Gesicki's not in this fucking team, man. Why are you trying to make a case for when you're losing an argument for someone that can't change anything that's gonna force you?
No, I'm making. You have.
You're making dumb cases. How about you and about Kendall? Kendall's not in this team. Oh my God, Kendall's gonna be next. He's not in this team right now.
Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall. Solomon Kenley, whatever the sorry ass guard you were caping for. Yeah, you a fake leader of the fucking trench gang. How about that?
Well, there was a time where Gesicki was the leading receiver on this team. I don't think we could ever say that for Durham Smythe. We would never say that about Durham.
Oh, here you go.
Oh shit, my bad. I was trying to get 305 up. My fault.
Mike Gesicki still has way better stats than sorry ass.
My bad, Spliff.
Can I ask a quick question? What exactly?
I already got my shit off.
What exactly is the argument?
Durham Smythe have a better season than Julian Hill.
Oh my God!
He had a better season than Mike Gesicki last year too.
Well, I'll put money on it. I'll put money on it right now. That
wait. Something was just said. When did Mike Gesicki lead us in receptions? What year?
I don't know who muting, but Wally making up shit. They just making up stats now.
No, I didn't say that.
I don't know.
No. Split said it. What year did Mike Gesicki
during that Flores era. Yeah. When you had him and you had Devontae Parker who couldn't see the field, Gesicki was your leading receiver, buddy.
I
But
think
you had
that's
guys
true.
like Isaiah Ford, and this was before Waddle got here.
No, Spliff. What year? Because Waddle led us in 2021. So was it 2022? I'm
No,
legitimately
it was
asking.
19
What
or 20.
season was it?
It was before Waddle got
I
here.
think you might be right, Spliff, but
Good
I
shit,
think you might be right. Either yards or
Nope,
receptions.
Devontae Parker in 20.
I said it was before Waddle got here. When was Waddle
Okay,
drafted?
so
Like 2021,
2019.
right?
So 2019 on 2020 he didn't lead us in receptions.
See,
2019 Devontae Parker led us again. Oh, Mike Gesicki 50 target or 50 receptions. Huh? Look at that. Just still didn't lead us. So let's go to 2018.
And who had the most touchdowns that year? Don't just say receptions. Who had the most touchdowns that
No,
year?
you said our leading receiver. Nope,
There
Danny
might be
Amendola, 2018.
With
Because Mike
respect,
Gesicki
leading
never
receiver
led this
doesn't.
team in
Leading
receptions.
receiver isn't defining it. It could either be yards, receptions, or touchdowns. Those are legitimate three things that would be leading.
Oh my God! Here we go.
That's a fact, right?
All right, whatever. Y'all just forget how bad it was. It's
really
all
don't
good.
care
You
about
guys had like Isaiah Ford running routes for you. Okay, yeah, I guess he was great.
Yeah, we remember. We remember that split. We all know how bad it was.
You guys is sitting over here like it's cool. French, we tried to make this bet yesterday over under 5 touchdowns from Durham Smythe, and your punk ass chickened out. So you're a fake ass Durham Smythe fan. If you want to talk about the fans going to the to the podcast and gain a clip, yeah, they can all find your punk ass backing down. So all this bravado and all this using Steve Dodo head ass ain't gonna work on me, cuz ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. You a fake Durham Smythe fan. Oh, Durham Smythe, people are sending me DMs. Yeah, how come you didn't want to make the bet? What's up? What happened, friend?
What bet are you trying to make, Wally? What bet are you trying to make?
Yeah, what's the bet?
What bet? The over under the over.
How much money? What was the bet?
It was an over under. Yo, he didn't even want to get there, Dundee. He said, "I'm like over under."
What bet?
Sir,
I'll have it.
We have
You talking about the 5 touchdowns?
Yes.
We already made it.
No, you didn't even make the bet. You checked it out. You never made the bet. You a liar.
Now I'm going to go to the podcast and clip it and tag you on Twitter.
Just make it now.
Hold on.
Just
I'm
make it
still
now.
trying to figure out what I did to deserve Dodo.
Let me hear what the bet was.
Damn.
What was the bet?
Go ahead and ask up, Steve.
What was the bet?
Durham Smythe over under
That's
5
fucked
touchdowns
up.
this season.
Hey, Dodo has
You said over French?
Yeah.
He said over.
Regular season, right?
No,
Honestly, I'll be amazed if any of our tight ends have more than 5 touchdowns this year. I'll be honest.
Getting 5 touchdowns.
I could certainly see Johnny getting 5.
I'll take under.
I could certainly see Johnny.
Of course, you take it.
Hell yeah, I'm taking the under.
French won't do it, but French won't do it.
But he said he's taking over, so I'm wanting a piece of that.
Allegedly, he wants to take the over. Oh, what's up, French? What's up? What's up? Now you on mute? You can't hear me? Yo, French. Yo. Hey, yo, French. Cuckoo. Yeah.
I think he's over listening.
I'm surprised you're not taking the over.
Find it.
French, I'm surprised you're not taking the over and the under, to be fair.
He didn't
You bet on all the horses.
We didn't
You bet on all the horses.
We would have had the terms.
I mean, you guys can't see. You guys can't see Johnny getting 5 touchdowns this year. I can certainly see it.
I can see it. I just don't know if it happens.
We're talking about Smythe, right?
That's John. That's not Smythe.
No. Yeah, but you guys said I don't see any tight ends getting 5 touchdowns.
No. To be clear, I said I don't know if I see any of them getting more than 5. But again, that's just me. I don't know if any of them will. I can see Jonnu getting more than 5, but I don't know if he will. I can't sit here and say any of them are going to automatically have more than 5.
I would say if anybody's going to get him, it's going to be Jonnu, personally.
I agree.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Or Fortson's got a chance if he makes the team, because he'll be a red zone target.
If you're French, you disagree.
Fortson ain't making the team, dog.
Fortson.
Yeah, I don't think he is. I've never fancied him. A lot of guys have been saying they think he's great. I've never thought he was that great.
He's not making this team. Again, it's down to 53. Maybe he gets called back on the practice squad, but I don't think
he can be put on the practice squad, can he? He was on.
He's still young.
No, but he played last year though for the Chiefs, did he not?
No, I think he was injured all year, wasn't he?
Okay, I'm not exactly sure how practice squad works, but
Yeah, I don't know
he's
what his
a
status
veteran,
was.
so I
Yeah,
don't think
he
that.
played.
Okay, I still don't think he can be put on the practice squad. So were any bets made there, or was that just a lot of noise?
There was no bet. There was no agreement.
Who said over?
It's supposed to be French because that's his boy.
Okay, shit. Okay. What happens in a bet like that between two people rather than with a bookmaker, where it's 5? The bet's just off, cancelled. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a push. It's a push.
It's a push.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. If the number, unless you specifically state over, like if you say it's over 5 and it hits 5, well, it wasn't over 5. So.
Yeah. Because we don't do bets like that in the UK.
Well,
we don't do the over/under thing at all.
Well, usually they'll do the bet at 5.5. That way, there's no confusion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
He's out.
Cool. Thank you.
Motherfucker, motherfucker better get 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
None of that.
And
I really hope that we get to see Jalen Wright do his shit this year, man. I hope he doesn't get buried between Mostert and.
No.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
This time next year, that's your running back 1.
Yeah, this time next year,
That's what I
would
thought.
say so. Yeah.
I see HN as the change of pace back, and Wright is like your workhorse guy.
I see 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I was going to say HN isn't necessarily a change of pace back, as he's just going to be a weapon lining up everywhere, where Jalen Wright should be your running back lining up most of the game in pass protection and the run game.
He's a bigger body. He's more reliable to stay healthy, in my opinion.
His pass pro's good.
Never looked at HN as a running back. You guys are right. He's a weapon.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. And quite clearly, from all reports, the consensus of everything I've heard is that they're using HN very diversely so far in training.
Bro, that screen Waddle runs with HN's going to be nasty.
Those fucking end arounds are unblockable at the goal line. Like, you can't do anything about that play that they basically broadcasted. Like,
I don't know if you noticed
can't defend that.
I don't know if you noticed it was Chop that was at the right end, the right outside linebacker, and if he's not catching that play, nobody's catching that play. Yeah.
Oh, Myles Garrett might catch that play.
No, he fucking not. Chop's in the backfield. Myles Garrett's still getting out of his stance. That's no, he's just not.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's sniffing out the play. The end around, like it's sniffing out the play.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett is stopping end arounds often enough. Like if there's somebody who would, it's going to be a Myles Garrett.
I've seen Jaden Phillips stop those shits. What are we talking about?
Phillips got a lot of speed too.
Yeah, none of them are anywhere in the
I am so happy.
Guys.
That is my cheering moment. That is the thing I'm so happy I was right about. I'm so happy he's back.
Jalen, JP. You talking about Phillips? Yeah, brilliant. Couldn't be happier for the guy. I couldn't have been more impressed with the interview he gave when he came back, talking about how he saw it as a challenge and he was grateful for it, and just how he's conducted himself and the humility he has and the effort he makes. It's absolutely fantastic.
What a freak of an athlete to come back that quickly. My God.
He's a great dude. And Steve, if he goes and he suits up and he plays game 1, I will come back on here and make sure I give you.
No, you don't got to do that. And again, this is what I said the other day. Like, I'm happy I was right about it. I was glad I was going to be sad if I was wrong. But again, The only people I had a problem with were the people who were telling me I don't know the shit about football when I said it.
No, but
Like,
I mean,
it was cool with you,
to
Mark.
be fair, he's not back yet. So I mean, like,
What do you mean? He was working 11 on 11s today.
to be
He's back.
okay,
He's
he's
back, man.
back.
He's playing week 1, bro.
No, listen. Once again, when he plays week 1, I gotta come back over here,
He's playing
and
week 1.
the man of my word, I gotta go and give Steve his flowers because I said he was not gonna be playing week 1, not because he wasn't gonna be working his ass off to try to get there. I said I think that they slow play him to go and come back.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm still I gotta stick with what I said. I don't think he's playing week 1 or week 2. I think that he'll be back week 3. But once again, if he plays, dude, I gotta like. It's not a fact about like Steve being like, "Hey, man, like,
fuck Steve. He wasn't the only one that said that shit.
nah." But hey, but I argue with Steve about it. So
That's y'all niggas, man. Nigga, hey, we
You guys are
invested in
fucking
this.
obsessed with things that you've said and fucking all that
I don't give a
bullshit.
shit.
It's
I just
absolutely wank.
felt like the kid was gonna retire. Like when it happened to him. Now when he came out after the what he said and said what he said, like, if you follow his trajectory, this kid has been through a lot. Going back to being the number 1 fucking player in high school, and then medically retiring from football, and finding his way back.
Yeah.
And then when he's about in the cusp of having a great fucking season and balling, he gets injured in spite of having a terrible fucking coach. So I at a very young age, at a very young age, that could be defeating, deflating, but he's never shown to be a punk. He's always fought through it, and I'm happy for it. And I always thought that if it's one kid, just like Steve said, and a few people have said, if it was one person that could come back early, given his freak of nature of skill set, it was him. I also believe Bradley Chubb is coming back too. That's the one that he might dress and not play till like week 2 or 3. But I think the boys are all gonna be back.
yeah, I just got to give him the props because I know sometimes in life, like bad things happen to good people, and if you just see the way that like Phillips just interacts in the community, see like how he interacts with fans, like at practice, like that's a guy that you go and you cheer for. So it like and like to Dundee's part, like you're right. Like I think we always like hold on to like what we say. It was just that one because it broke me when that dude went and got injured. I was like, bro, like it wasn't supposed to happen to him. So I want that dude to be a part of the Dolphins forever. He's like one of those guys. So I just don't want him to go and rush back. But I just know like Steve, like it just was like for a while for that one particular comment. Like for me, I was like, Steve, there's no way that dude's coming back. Like they're gonna slow play him, and just everything that he's done for that reason, I gotta go and like give him his flowers. At the end of the day, bro, we always say stuff and do we're wrong. Like it's life. Like that's how it is. Like I'm not apologizing for everything unless I feel like, hey, I need to do that. You know, just giving it.
And again, Mark, and to Dundee's point, I don't care that if I'm right or wrong. I'm wrong about most shit I say half the time. But it's this I'm happy I'm right about because as long as he plays weeks 1, this is one of those things that's going to put us in the position where we want to be going into this season, where we're healthy enough, where we're not hoping on young guys to carry the workload to get us to where we have these guys back. I don't care about people saying, "Oh, you're right" or whatever. That shit doesn't mean nothing to me. It was more, it's one of those standpoints of like when all of us have our point of views on here, but we're respectful with each other about it. This is more one of those things of I get tired of hearing I don't know fucking nothing about football by people who want to just argue with me because they have their point of view.
Yeah, but Steve, I would go and say like to those people, like obviously like the group that we roll with, that, all the people that are in this space, like for the most part, like we all respect each other. And when we kind of do get out of pocket a little bit, like it's in a friendly banter. Like, I could go at Wally and Wally could like go at me in a certain way. And I stopped it. I stopped the bit up.
Especially when it's Wally, because who gives a fuck what he thinks?
Yeah, like like it is what it is. But at the end of the day, like I'll go and I'll chop it up with Wale. I respect them. Like that's what it is. Like Steve, like it's the same thing. I might disagree with you, but I have no problem with you. Like that's the thing about this community that we have with these people that are in this group. Like this is just what we do. So just because we like disagree and yell and scream, like nah, like Steve, you cool, bro. Like I have no
I
problem
mean,
with you. Like it
that's
just is
also
what it is.
it also wasn't some kind of crazy outlandish take either. Like I didn't think Jalen Phillips would be out there week 1 personally. Now I wasn't gonna go out and make a bet or wasn't gonna argue about it over anybody, but you know, just
I
the
blame French.
anybody that tears an ACL when he did, you can't assume that dude's gonna be back week 1. That is an insanely fast recovery time.
I
You
blame
know,
French. I
Achilles.
blame French.
oh Achilles. I mean, it was
Oh no,
a very
more
quick
so. Yeah.
recovery.
It's even worse when you you're a takeoff athlete. So yeah,
Dude, like
that's
it's
Exactly.
crazy. It's crazy that he's back as quickly as he is. But just goes to show how much of a horse he is and
he's just
how
young.
freak of an athlete he is.
He's fucking young, dude. It's
Yeah.
youth. It's
He's a
called
hard
youth.
he's a hard worker, man, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. But hey, guys, we have to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Be on the lookout for tonight's show, 7:30 p.m. Give a little recap on today's practice. Getting ready for tomorrow joint practices. Appreciate y'all.
If you're a Durham Smythe stand, pull up.
No, all right. Durham Smythe
And
fans
if you're just a
and
regular
Julian Hill
person, pull up, because
fans,
Durham
we
Smythe is
all
trash.
unite together, man. So fins up, go fins. Wally, take us home, my boy.
Man, fans for the win, man. Don't listen to French, man. Me and Michael Burke, keep stacking them days, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're
Stack
gonna
them
keep
days,
starting out
baby.
here, stacking them days, baby. We out.